vlog, we're going to change some oil. So, first things first, filter. If you're using synthetic oil, get a filter for synthetic oil. Otherwise, your oil is just going to outlast your filter. Pointless. So, synthetic filter, some 520 full synthetic oil. Let's get to it. Okay, let's go over the tools that you need for the job. Now, you can either use a wrench like this, or you can use a ratchet with a socket. In my case, I'm going to use the ratchet with the socket because I've got it. But if you don't, wrenches are totally fine. If the bolt is too tight, here's a trick that you can use. You take another wrench and you can link it like this. So say this is on the nut, you can now pull with a lot more leverage out here than just pulling on the wrench. Alright? Alright, one other thing you'll need is a funnel. Unless you are wicked good at pouring oil, which is highly unlikely, don't recommend trying it, you need a funnel. So any funnel that fits into the oil fill tube is totally fine. I also like to keep a rag close by so that as soon as you're finished you can just pull it out of the oil fill hole, put this underneath and pull it away. Otherwise you end up with oil drippings all over your engine and it could cause smoke or just dust and grime getting stuck all over the top of your engine. You don't want that. Alright, I've already got the car up on jack stands. When you put it up on jack stands, you're going to want to put it somewhere that it's not going to collapse the floor of your car or fall over. So a good spot is where the subframe connects to the unibody part of the car. There's a good spot right there, kind of where the control arm that the wheel attaches to comes in. It's always a good spot. Another one on a lot of cars is the pinch weld, which is down there behind the front wheel. A lot of cars have jacking points back there. When I do an oil change, the first thing I do is pull off this fill cap and I put it right here. That way I remember to put it back on before I close the hood. Alright, now the easiest way to do this is to just crack it loose a little bit before sliding your drain pan underneath. Unless you have a whole bunch of space and it doesn't matter. But this is the easiest way. And just let it drain. And I usually let it drain all the way and then I do the filter side of it afterwards. Okay, so here's the oil filter here. So you gotta move the pan underneath the filter or as close to it as possible, or you'll end up with a heck of a mess. And then just kind of start to loosen it. Don't take it all the way off right away. Unscrew it kind of halfway. Let it drain. For a minute or so, so you figure you've got the majority of the fluid out, and then just kind of keep some pressure on the end of it with one of your fingers so when it comes off the last thread it doesn't end up on the ground. Like that, and then tip it upwards so it doesn't drain out all over your arms, and then when you get it close to the pan, just tip it upside down in the pan. Let it drain out the rest of the way. When you pull your new filter out of the box, you'll find it's got a rubber seal on it, and it's dry. And you'll have cleaned your mating surface on the engine, so it'll also be dry. So, good rule of thumb is lube. Lube's always good. Never like it dry. So, we just run a little bit of oil out of your new container, or you can use old oil, it doesn't really matter as long as there's some lube on there. That way when you spin the filter on, it's not going against a clean dry surface, because what happens is the engine heat cycles and then the rubber will dry out and basically bond itself to the engine, and then it's a real pain in the ass trying to get the filter off again. Alright, now that you got the filter off, the engine's all drained out, I like to clean this whole area off with brake clean. Not a whole bunch, just enough. And then just wipe it off with a shop towel. Clean off that mating surface that we were talking about needed some lube. There you go. Now we're ready to spin on the new filter. Now when you put this filter on, do not crank it on. That's a mistake that so many people make. You just kind of get it snug on there, not crazy tight. That's perfect. If you're putting a whole bunch of effort into it, it's way too tight. So just snug. Otherwise it dries on there and you can't get it off again. Okay, now for the last part. Now that you've spun the new filter on, not too tight, and your oil drain plug is back in, kind of wedge your funnel in there, and then pour the new oil in. Now every engine has different oil capacities, so look up online or in your user manual or wherever for your car's oil capacity, and then get it close. Like this car takes 4 liters of oil, so I pour in almost this full jug, and then wait a couple minutes, put the car back down off jack stand so it's level, check the oil level, and then if it needs a little topping up, top it up from there. Don't overfill it, because that's a pain in the ass. Then you've just got to drain some out again. Alright, now that we've got the car back on the ground, and it's been sitting level for a few minutes, you can pull the dipstick tube, wipe it off, put it back in, and then pull it out and check the oil. Pretty bang on. So if you can see, there's 2 grooves in there. You want it as close to this groove as possible. You don't want it above it because that's overfilled. A little bit below is okay, but you want it right on there ideally. So after you're done that, put that back into the dipstick tube, pull this out, get the rag under it, wipe it off, and then the final thing you do is you put this cap back on. There you go. That's how you do an oil change. Well, I hope today's video was helpful to some people. The next video I do is going to be about superchargers. How they function. I'm going to take everything apart, show you what everything does step by step, and by the end of it, everybody will know how people make more power with blowers.